Alrighty, hey there guys, Adrian DaCosta here, aka JediBro95, coming at you guys with another video. And in this video, guys, I want to just talk about something that I've happened to notice for the last little bit, and I'm pretty sure a lot of hardcore basketball fans have noticed this too. Um, but it's the double standards players and organizations have with each other. So a lot of this has been bubbling under the surface apparently for the last little bit. And then you see, a player like Draymond Green, who last night basically put Cleveland on blast for their treatment of Andre Drummond. And can I just say, I love Draymond Green for that because even though he is the butt of a lot of jokes, and granted, some of the jokes that are coming that do get his way are sometimes warranted. I'm not gonna act as if like he is perfect and he doesn't deserve to have some shit thrown at him. But him putting the entire Cleveland organization on blast is one of the reasons I love him. Okay, and I'm saying it in obvious, whatever. But the fact that he's willing to speak his mind and not say and not care what anybody thinks, it is like it's one of the reasons I love Draymond. And he put Cleveland on blast last night because last night he spoke about the double standards of when it comes with players handling public controversies and the organizations handling public controversies. Some things he brought up. One of the things that he brought up was obviously in relation to DeAndre Jordan, because the Cavs and Andre Drummond, because the Cavs and Warriors played last night, renewing their epic long 4-year rivalry. Okay, I'm not even gonna finish saying that sentence because that just makes me fucking depressed. But they met last night, and apparently Andre Drummond. I didn't watch the game. Apparently Andre Drummond was getting ready to play. He was on the court. Then he was told to go to the back and unchange and get in street clothes, and he basically sat on the bench the entire game. Now, Draymond put them on blast because it's like, okay, you're gonna do that, and then the stupid thing is like we're told to be professional about it, but if we actually sit there and say our true feelings, we get called a locker room cancer. We get called unmanageable, uncoachable, and all this stuff. And you know what? He's not wrong. Draymond Green is definitely not wrong to say something like that because we literally have seen it over and over and over again. Take, for example, even just with most recent events with Kyrie Irving. Kyrie Irving just sat there and said one day that, his mental health was not up to par to what he would like it to be, and he needed to step away for a couple of games. I can't remember how long it was. He needed to step away, and he needed to focus on himself. And everybody ruined Kyrie, telling him to be professional. You're a player. You're not supposed to, you're not supposed to be taking these times off. You have an obligation and shit like that. It's like, sure, he may have an obligation and shit to the coaches and all that crap, but at the end of the day, he's a human being. He's a human being. He has emotions. He has the ability to feel. Just because he's in the NBA, he does not become some perfect creature that just has to ignore everything around him because he's making millions of dollars. Money doesn't buy happiness. All right? Money can't fix everything. So, and that's one of the reasons I sympathize with Kyrie a little bit. Not because of the fact that I'm a big mental health guy, because of the fact that, he's willingly getting scrutinized for just because he's in the public eye. Just because he's consistently in the public eye because he is part of a team that is competing for a championship. I feel like if he was in a situation like, say, he was in Houston, which, Houston is now rebuilding. I don't think anybody would give a crap if he took time away to, see to his mental health because Houston's not going anywhere. And if you're saying that people would blast Kyrie for that, I'm just going to simply say, you're lying to yourself on that. You're lying to yourself because, like, take, for example, with what Harden did in this past year, okay? Harden just stopped caring when he announced he wanted to be traded. And dude came to camp completely out of shape. My God, that was crazy what he looked like when he came back from the offseason into the preseason. That was just crazy. Um, but nobody really cared that he just did not give a crap in Houston anymore. Except the organization. The organization was trying to be like, yo, just be professional. You know, you're an NBA player. Damn it. It's like, why is it okay for the organization to get away with saying something like that? But when the player speaks their minds, all of a sudden they're labeled as a cancer or as a locker room issue. Like, I don't get that. I've never understood that. I feel like it should be a two-way street, and respect, and like some respect should be given and taken away from employee and management, so to speak. Like, take for another example, Anthony Davis's trade request, okay? When Anthony Davis in 2019 requested to be traded from the Pelicans to the Lakers, from the Pelicans, it wasn't necessarily to the Lakers, it was just traded, period. You know, a lot of people got on Anthony Davis for being unprofessional. But it's weird because now we're in 2021 and we have two organizations that have openly said that they're going to be trading players. The Cavs have openly said that they're looking to trade away Andre Drummond, and the Pistons today also said that they're willingly going to give up on Blake Griffin and try and move him. Now, to the Pistons' credit, they have told Blake Griffin that he does not have to come to practices and games, but he's more than willing to do so. Okay? So in a sense, it kind of is all right, quote. I'm using that in quotation marks, I feel, because they're giving him the option. Okay? It's not like he has, definitive, he has to sit down and not play. All right? Whereas with Andre, he has to sit down and not play now. And, you're being told that you're a key piece to this franchise, and yet 2 years later, they're just going to dump you off to another team? Like, that just doesn't make sense. Like, I get the NBA is a business, but at the same time, these players are the business. Okay, you can't contend or do anything or compete or, build a franchise if you're just consistently moving pieces because they just aren't good enough. Anyhow, moving back to Anthony Davis with the Celtics, with the trade request from the Pelicans. Everybody flamed AD for wanting to leave the Pelicans, and when he made it public. Everybody flamed his ass, called him a locker room cancer, called him, selfish, called him a baby, called him a weak bit, like, oh my God. But yet here we are, and the ownership is like, everyone is okay with well, I shouldn't say everyone's okay, but people around in the organization are completely fine with the organization acting the way they are, but the players can't do that. Like, what type of double standard bullshit is that, man? Like, I find it ironic for a league that promotes freedom, like the First Amendment, and using your voice in ways that you should to further benefit yourself and others around you. I love how that league is fining players for making their feelings public. I really find that ironic that the NBA fines players for speaking their minds. Like, that's just dumb. I don't understand that, to be honest, and it's one of the reasons I genuinely question Adam Silver some days. Like, I don't know. Like, I'm not saying he's not fit to run in office, because he absolutely is. He's for what it's worth. Adam Silver has done some dumbass things, but he's also done some really good things. In his time. He's introduced the play-in tournament. He's gotten rid of the divisional rules. He made he found a way to get the playoffs back up and running. He was able to get in those playoffs. He allowed players to address how they felt about the situation in the world with racial injustice and inequality. He genuinely has done some good things in office, but a lot of that is overshadowed by the fact that he does some stupid things to players when they speak their minds or they make their feelings public. So, what do I think they should do? Well, obviously, the simple answer is, to me, Just stop finding players for speaking their minds. If a player has an issue with something in an organization, or a player has an issue with the organization and it becomes public, there should be no reason to fine that player. There shouldn't be. I don't, like, yeah, sure, you may want to hash it out behind closed doors and shit like that, and I get it. But sometimes these things just leak out. The media is all over the place. You know, Anthony Davis is, going back to Anthony Davis's trade request, if I remember correctly, that trade request wasn't even supposed to be leaked into the public eye. He requested it initially in private, and then it broke into a big story. Then AD was fine, which doesn't make sense when you look at it that way, in my opinion. Because how are you going to punish AD for something that he did behind closed doors that ended up leaking out into the public? Why? Why would you do that? But anyways, guys, I've said my piece. That's going to be the end of this video, guys. A couple of things before I do wrap up. One, if you have not seen my previous video about Mike the NBA, reacting to Mike the NBA guy's reaction to our response to the Steph Curry, to Rusty Bucket's video, to the Rusty Bucket Steph Curry video, I'll link that in the description. And also, guys, I just want to say just real quick, thank you guys for everybody who's been watching and everybody who's been coming by for the videos to, you know, drop a like or comment. I do appreciate everybody who does do that. You know, it does make me feel like I'm actually doing something with my life rather than just sitting here talking to a camera and a microphone. No, but seriously, though, it does make me feel happy to know that people are watching and commenting. So, with that being said, guys, I'll see you guys in the next video. I'm out.